In the heart of a sun-kissed valley, nestled between rolling green hills and shimmering sapphire lakes, bloomed the kingdom of Leora. It was a land forever in springtime, where petals drifted on warm breezes like confetti and the scent of jasmine sweetened the air. Golden sunbeams kissed every rooftop, and laughter echoed through cobblestone streets lined with flower carts and singing birds. The people of Leora, known for their cheerful hearts and generous spirits, lived in harmony under the gentle gaze of their beloved rulers. King Alderan and Queen Seraphina were as revered as they were adored. Wise beyond their years, the king ruled with fairness and strength, while the queen's kindness and gentleness touched every corner of the land. Together, they had created a realm where joy bloomed like the endless roses in the royal gardens. When the long-awaited princess was born, a celebration swept through the kingdom. But as the queen held her newborn daughter close, a curious hush fell over the room. She had not a single strand of hair. The courtiers murmured in confusion. The queen's brow furrowed ever so slightly with concern, but the king only smiled, cradling the child in his arms. "She is perfect," he said softly, his eyes alight with pride. "The sun needs no crown to shine." And so the Princess of Leora, bold and beautiful, was welcomed with open arms into a kingdom that would come to love her, not in spite of her difference, but because of it. As Elira grew, so did her curiosity and kindness. She was the kind of child who asked questions about the stars, helped birds back into their nests, and remembered everyone's name, from knights to kitchen staff. The children of the kingdom adored her laughter and clever games, but sometimes whispers followed her through castle halls and market streets. Some stared, a few even giggled. Elira had no hair, not a single strand. She was born that way. At first, she didn't mind, but over time, the stares began to sting. She started wearing wide-brimmed hats, silky scarves, and sometimes even a hooded cloak, hoping to blend in. Her parents reminded her often, "You are beautiful, Elira, not because of what's on your head, but because of what's in your heart." She tried to believe them. Really, she did. But one afternoon, as she wandered alone through the palace garden, Elira heard two voices behind a hedge. "She's sweet," one said, "but the princess without hair could never be a true queen." The words stuck like thorns. That night, Elira curled beneath her covers, pulling the blankets tight around her. A tear rolled down her cheek. "I don't want to hide anymore," she whispered to the stars. "I want to find out who I really am, not just what I look like." Then she closed her eyes, holding that wish close, not knowing it was the beginning of something magical. While exploring the palace library the next day, she found herself drawn to a dusty, forgotten corner. Ancient volumes lined the shelves, their spines cracked and faded with time. As she reached for a book titled The True Crown, something slipped from its pages and fluttered to the floor. An old, weathered map. Intrigued, she knelt to examine it. The parchment was brittle, edges curling, but the ink had not faded. It depicted a secret path, winding beyond the dense forest that bordered the palace grounds. At the map's edge was a name written in delicate script, "The Mirror of Meaning." A small, curled note had been fastened to the map with a rusted pin. On it were the words, "To see your true self, seek what cannot be seen." Her heart quickened. The Mirror of Meaning. She had never heard of such a place, but the name stirred something deep within her, a sense of forgotten purpose. The cryptic note echoed in her mind like a riddle she had always known but never understood. She didn't tell anyone. Some journeys, she felt, were meant to begin in silence. At dawn, While the palace still slumbered and the sky blushed with the promise of day, she slipped out. With only her cloak wrapped tight against the morning chill, a lantern to guide her steps, and a quiet resolve in her chest, she stepped into the unknown. The forest loomed ahead, thick with mist and shadow. But she walked forward, drawn by mystery, by the whisper of truth, and the hope of discovering who she truly was. Elira stepped into the shadowy entrance of the whispering woods, where the trees leaned close, and their leaves murmured secrets in voices only the brave dared to hear. The sunlight faded behind her, replaced by a silvery glow that danced through the branches. Every rustle of leaves felt like a whisper, meant only for her, testing her courage with every step. Not far in, a sleek, amber-eyed fox appeared on the path. It tilted its head, voice sly and smooth. "Answer me this, little traveller. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 at night?" Elira smiled softly, remembering a story her father once told. "A person," she said, "as a child, an adult, and then with a cane in old age." The fox grinned and vanished into the shadows, leaving only a faint shimmer behind. Soon after, a silver river blocked her path, its waters swirling with images. Her warm home, her mother's arms, the safety of everything she had left behind. The river whispered in her mind, "Turn back, Elira. This journey is not worth your tears." But she held her ground, clutching the ribbon her parents had tied around her wrist before she left. "I'll keep going for them and for me." As she pressed on, a fluttering cry caught her attention. In a bramble, a small bird struggled, its wing bent awkwardly. Despite the shadows that loomed, Elira knelt beside it, gently wrapping it in her scarf. She carried it close, whispering comfort, her heart wide open even as fear crept in. With each step, the forest grew quieter, not with menace, but with respect. Elira had faced riddles, illusions, and fear, but she walked on, lit from within by love, hope, and the kindness she chose to give. In the heart of an ancient forest, she finally reached a quiet clearing bathed in silver light. At its center stood a glowing mirror, surrounded by soft, floating orbs that shimmered like fireflies. She stepped closer, expecting to see her reflection, but the mirror offered something else entirely. Instead of her image, it displayed moments from her life, her hands reaching out to help others, her eyes lit with laughter, the silent strength in her tears. She watched herself face fear with trembling courage, offer kindness in the face of cruelty, and love without condition. Then, words appeared on the glass, clear and radiant. "Your beauty was never in your hair. Your crown is the love, courage, and kindness you carry." Tears welled in her eyes, not from sadness, but from a profound sense of truth. The floating lights began to circle her slowly, like a gentle dance. She felt warmth bloom in her chest, a steady strength she hadn't known she still carried. And then, her head began to glow, not with hair, but with soft, radiant light. A crown made of stars formed above her, woven from every act of love, every moment of bravery. She stood tall, not transformed, but revealed, whole, enough, beautiful. After days away, Elira returned to the kingdom, her presence like the sunrise after a long night. A gentle glow clung to her skin, not blinding but warm, like hope made visible. The townsfolk gathered in awe, whispering about the change in her. Children peered up at her with wide eyes, and elders bowed their heads in quiet reverence. She stood before them and spoke, not of battles or triumphs, but of the journey itself. Of the stranger she helped in the woods, the tears she shed by a river, the fears she faced in silence. Her words painted no grand conquests, only small moments of truth and bravery. The crowd erupted into cheers, not for the glow that shimmered around her, but for the heart that led her home. Her courage, her kindness. The king and queen stepped forward, eyes shining with pride. They embraced her, not just as their daughter, but as a leader in her own right. In that moment, Elira was more than a returning traveller. She was a beacon, a promise, and the queen their kingdom had long awaited. So, little one, as you curl up beneath your blankets and let the day slip away, remember this: true beauty doesn't shine from your hair, your clothes, or how tall you stand. It glows from your kindness, your courage, and the love you share. Real strength doesn't roar the loudest. It's in the gentle way you care, the way you try, and the way you never give up. No matter what others say or how you look, what's inside your heart is your true crown, and it sparkles brighter than anything else. Now close your eyes, dream of floating lights and whispering woods, and remember, you are already magical, just as you are. Good night, little star.